War and Peace. War and Peace, authored by Leo Tolstoy, is a chronicle of life as lived alternately between times of war and times of peace. According to critics, War and Peace isn't just a great novel, but a guide to living. What Tolstoy offers is not so much a set of answers to life's every situation as an attitude toward living. Tolstoy packs in more human experience than any other work of fiction had ever attempted, as he moves seamlessly back and forth between ballrooms and battlefields, marriages and massacres, private lives and public spectacles. The world Tolstoy shows us in his greatest novel is a mysterious place where things aren't always what they seem to be, with today's tragedy often paving the way for tomorrow's triumph. War and peace are thus two sides of a coin, the coin of life and living, a coin we all indulge in unconsciously. No farmer has been able to enjoy the fruits of his labor or sit down to enjoy his leisure without first waging a war for it. He battles the elements of the earth, soil, weather, predators, etc. before being able to gather in a harvest. No mother brings forth life without first struggling through the process of birth, to be able to gaze with calm devotion at her baby. No builder or engineer has ever been able to raise an edifice or build tracks and roads without first grappling with digging holes, unearthing vegetation or other barriers to progress. No student has ever been able to rise to the heights of education and learning unless and until he or she has struggled to stay away from sleep or carousing or even laziness. No one can ever hope to become an entrepreneur or business person before combating discouragement, lack of resources, or even loss of vitality. No doctor has ever been able to bring the peace of healing unless and until he or she has worked against the ravages of disease and depression. There is no gain without at least a modicum of pain through tussle and conflict. A classic case exists in the Bible of the twin tools of war and work going hand in hand and being used to achieve a target. Nehemiah the statesman, with sanctions from the Persian king Artaxerxes I to rebuild the broken down walls of Jerusalem, faced stiff opposition from those who couldn't bear to see the nation rise again. The feud was so bitter and the work so threatened that he had to command his people to work with one hand and war with the other. He gave instructions to his people to be battle ready so that in the event of an attack, they would not lose a moment or effort in protecting the work being done. The progress and establishment of the wall depended on their ability to combine work and war. Alternating between war and peace, Nehemiah successfully rebuilt and dedicated the wall, making the city safe and a name again. Warfare then is not just nation states bashing one another up, but a striving to achieve in all walks and parts of life in some form or another. The real wisdom and acumen lies in being able to know who to war, when to war, how to war, and which is the true battleground. Apostle Paul is very vehement in reiterating that we are not fighting against human beings, but against the wicked spiritual forces in the heavenly world, the rulers, authorities, and cosmic powers of this dark age. He instructs the church to don on the armor of God so as to be able to stand against the devil's tricks and hold the ground gained by Christ. He specifically explains that the world or society out there is unprincipled and a case of dog eat dog. The world doesn't fight fair, but we aren't supposed to live or fight our battles like that. As the people of God, the tools of our trade aren't for marketing or manipulation, but for demolishing the entire massively corrupt culture. We are to use our powerful God tools for smashing warped philosophies, tearing down barriers erected against the truth of God. fitting every loose thought, emotion, and impulse into the structure of life shaped by Christ. And that is the crux of the matter. Our war and fight is to set the captives free. War and peace are therefore Siamese twins that are part and parcel of the process of accomplishing anything. You cannot hope to achieve a target unless you are ruthless to everything that would hinder the forward movement of the task. You may not call it a war or battle, but nevertheless, focusing on a goal involves being radical against all that would harm or delay it. However, we need to be really persuaded and convinced that the real place of battle and the true arena where we war is on our knees and in our prayer closets. We often forget that what is achieved on our knees is what will be set in motion in the real world. What is conceived in the prayer womb is what will be birthed in the outer realm of the visible world. If your prayer room doesn't become your war room, then we become walking tombs and whitewashed sepulchres. We are meant to spread the sweet aroma and fragrance of Christ and of His life in this world while we are alive, rather than unconsciously and unwittingly spreading the stench of death in a society already stinking of selfishness, self-centeredness, and sadness. The saying, more things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams, holds true at all times. Remember that the greatest man of peace, Jesus Christ, was also the one who was first a man of prayer before he was a man of action. The greatest battles he fought were in secret in those hidden years of silence, of which time is said, during the days of Jesus' life on earth, he offered up prayers and petitions with fervent cries and tears to the one who could save him from death, and he was heard because of his reverent submission. Through the book of Acts, we see that the apostles' automatic and instinctive reaction to opposition, opportunity, and open doors was prayer. The church began in prayer and was sustained by prayer all through its history. Can we at any time then not consider prayer as the mode of war in order that peace may prevail and His will be done and His kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven? To learn more about prayer, you can access this book on prayer, Teach Us to Pray, Decoding the Lord's Prayer.